Hey guys, welcome to this week's Make It Monday tutorial. I am very sorry you can't see my face. I am not a great filmmaker. Today we're going to be making soy wax candles. So you have everything you need except for one item, which I will talk about in a second. You have soy flakes, soy wax flakes. You have a jar. You're going to get one round sticker, and you're going to get a wick, and you're going to get a little bit of dye in a powder form. So you should make sure your surface is covered because the dye is very strong. So when you get to the part of the dye, you want to make sure you're not dyeing anything important in your house. So make sure you cover it up. This entire craft does require adult supervision because either way, the wax is going to have to get really hot. So I will put that in the email, but make sure you have your family with you, or at least that they know what you're doing when you start this craft. So the thing that you need from your house is something microwave safe that you can easily pour from. So the perfect thing is a liquid measuring cup like this. But there's other things that will work too if you don't have one just like this. And if you don't have a microwave, you can melt it like you would chocolate chips in a double boiler. You can talk with your family about that. If they don't know what that means either, reach back out to me via email and I'll explain how you do it that way. But I think most people will have a microwave. So you're going to open your wax chips and you're going to pour them into the container that you're going to use in the microwave. Now, you're going to want to, different microwaves have different intensities of heat. So you're going to want to look at it about every 1 minute. I have done this just the other day to test it out. It took me 2 to 3 minutes. So, start with maybe 1.5 minutes, look at it, and you want it to be all the way melted. So I'm going to stop the video and come back after I have melted my chips. So that ended up taking about 3 minutes and a little more for it to be completely liquefied. So you can set that aside for a second. Be so careful with it, guys. It's really hot. And now you're going to attach the wick to the bottom of the jar. So you're going to grab one of these stickers. There'll just be one in your bag. And you're going to stick the one side to the bottom plate on the wick, and then you're going to put it down into the jar. It's really cool because in this jar on the bottom there's sort of a center mark, so you can put it right down where there's that little mark in the middle. But then you need to take something. I'm going to use this knife and go in and press it down, because the first time I tried making a candle I didn't do this part, and when I poured the wax in, it wasn't stuck down enough and it floated to the top and I had to start over. So that's now stuck down. So now you're going to put that aside for a second. You're going to grab your wax and you're going to take a little bit of the dye I gave you. Now again, this is the point where you want to be really, really careful because it's very strong dye. Like maybe do this in the sink. Carefully put your wax inside the sink and then pour this in so you don't get it everywhere. I did dye my hands a little bit when I was using it the other night. So I'm going to give you only a tiny little bit. You really only need a sprinkle. There's more in this container than I'm going to use. Oops, actually I used it all, so this will probably be a pretty vivid candle. Okay, so then you're going to grab something to mix it up with. Something that won't stain, like a metal spoon would be fine, but probably don't use a wooden spoon. And it's going to turn into this really rich color. It's very pretty. Okay, so mix it up. And then get your candle and pour the wax into your jar. All right, and that's really all you're going to do. The wick may kind of flop to the side. There is something you can do about that, but I wouldn't play with it too much because, like I said, they can pull up from the bottom. So you might just kind of want to lean it so the wick stays a little bit centered, but really don't play with the wick too much. When it's in a few hours, when it's totally settled, then you can trim the wick. below the bottom of the jar, and it will be perfect. So I'm not even going to touch this because the glass jar is going to be very hot, but I do want to show you what the one I made the other night looks like. So that's what it's going to look like when you're done. I hope you guys enjoy making this craft. Thanks for watching.